mighty man in battle. Oh Lord, El Shaddai, you are the mighty man in battle. Oh, glory to your name. Praise God forevermore. Hallelujah. I want to thank the person of the Holy Spirit for the privilege to be here. Say thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And also want to thank our most highly esteemed Papa Joshua Igila. Say we love you, Papa. We love you, Papa. And happy birthday celebration. Amen. Happy birthday celebration. Amen. How many of you were blessed by our Papas? Amen. Our Papa is just blessed and favored forevermore. Praise God. Amen. Amen and amen. Praise God. I want to thank our church in Atlanta that is joining us for service. Amen. Say we love you, Sister Deborah. We love you, Sister Deborah. And Brother Mega. Amen. Brother Mega. Praise God forevermore. I hope they can hear us. Amen. So let's just check whether they can hear us. Praise God forevermore. When I was pointing at you, I was pointing at the buttons to see whether those buttons. Yeah? Praise God. Okay. I want to talk to us about understanding tithing. There's need for us to understand what tithe is, why we pay tithes. And of course, you may say you know a lot about tithing. But we just want to show you something the Lord showed me concerning tithing that I had never seen before. Yes, so you may think, well, you already know something about tithing. But we're about to show you something you don't know about tithing. And we bet you don't know, because a few days ago we were with a great man of God. We were just talking and we were sharing some of our meditations, and he was baffled what he was hearing us say about tithing. And we were telling him, even for me, what we were sharing with him, I had never heard them before, but they were coming out of me. Then the Lord said, "Now teach it." At the point he was typing it on his phone. He said, "Man of God, you're telling me something here." So let's share with you what we shared with him. Amen. Because I know he will teach it in his own church. Malachi 3. Father in heaven, we thank you. We give you all the glory for the privilege to be here. Thank you for your children that came from far and near to come and hear the word. We thank you for a glorious celebration of our Papa's birthday. Thank you for our church in Atlanta that is joining us. Lord, we thank you for your children. Blessed be your holy name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You know, there was something our Papa said, and it is so true. It is when you are faced with trials that you really know those who are really for you. And you know, for me, it's an opportunity for me to really know people more. You know, because if all you do is on the grounds of convenience, you will always be at where you are. And the worst thing that can happen to you, never forget this, the worst thing that can ever happen to you is for you to be comfortable. Someone is in challenge and the person came out of the challenge and still became better than you. And that's the truth. Thank God you were not faced with the challenge, but others were. Or some of us were faced with the challenge. We went through the challenge and came out of it, and we're still better than you. See? Then the question then becomes, when next I see you, how would I see you? Yeah. The Bible says, if you fail in the days of adversity, then your faith is small. See, those kind of people, they have small faith to live small lives. Some people's life will always be small. They are married, they have children, they have good job, but they live a small life. It's what they can carry by faith. They even thank God for the grace to do small things. I don't have that grace for small things. I have grace for big things. Someone say, you are talking about me, I didn't call your name. I'm just saying what I've come to know. All right, Malachi 3. From verses 8, it says, will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? He says, in tithes and offerings. Therefore ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Now bring all the tithes into my storehouse, that there may be meat in my house. And prove me now herein, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Amen. Amen. Then he says, I will rebuke the devourer for your sake, and he shall not destroy the fruit of your ground, neither shall your vine cast her young before the time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts. Amen. Amen. It says, all nations shall call you blessed, for ye shall be a delightsome land, saith. But then he goes on to now say, actually, the reason why you were a victim to the curse in the first place, tithing goes beyond what you give, the 10% you give, really. Say it. Say tithing goes beyond the 10% that you give. What makes tithing productive is what he's about to say next. Look at the next verse, verse 13. He says what? Your words have been harsh against me. You see that? See that? He already told them he will open the windows of heaven, pour them out a blessing they do not have room enough to receive. Then he said, but the problem is that even if I do it, your words will still be against me. So let's not fool ourselves. Even when we pay tithes, how do you talk? Because he's saying here, your words fights even the blessings God gives you through tithing. The way you talk. So there's no point trying to pay tithe if you are nasty with the way you talk. If you don't talk like someone who is trained to talk right. Somebody paid tithe, then the person said, I have a problem. But you just paid tithe. How can you have a problem when you just paid tithe? You see that? Now, we don't read that part. Say, your words have been harsh against me. And the people challenge God. What have we spoken against you? God says, you see, that's the problem again. They challenge God with all the blessings. God bless them. God said, this is the condition. Okay, let's see. Ye have said, it is vain to serve God. What profit is it that we have kept his ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts? Remember, you may not say this directly to the Lord, but you may say it in your prayers. As someone who is crying to God for help. Lord, remember what I've been going through. I say, but what are you saying here? What profit is it, Lord? If you don't give me this, the people will say, where's my God since I've been serving you? Doesn't that look like some of the prayers people pray? God said those kind of prayers, they destroy the tithes you pay. Actually, that's not the part I want you to see, but just know it. That even after you pay your tithe, in fact, it will be better you shut up. Just when you pay your tithe, just because for them here, to complain all of a sudden automatically means that with the blessings, a challenge came. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
A challenge came.
Yes, sir.
Remember the lady Elisha prayed for her, she became pregnant, she had a son. When the son died, she went to the man of God again, I did not ask you for a child. You see that? Those are the kind of people Malachi was dealing with. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So for God to talk to them about tithe and offerings made that these people were giving it. But the time came, they were like, man, what's the use? If God blesses us now, something will go wrong. That's the problem. If God gives us something now, oh God, I want a child. They have a child now, the child is sick all the time. Ew, something goes wrong. Or they have a child, they were fired at work. But they did not pray about their work. They prayed concerning having a child. They had the child now, they were fired at work. Now they pray for the job. Now they already have the child, loss of job. Pray for a new job. God gave them a job. Now husband is acting up or wife is acting up. You see, Malachi said, the problem is the way you talk. The problem these people have is that they were serving God for profit. So what's the profit? And God has an issue with that. God has a problem with that. You serving him for the sake of profit. You are serving him for what he will give you. You are serving him you are giving him tithe for what he will give you in return. You want to make profit for paying tithe. That's the problem. Your word says if I pay my tithe 10%, you will give me 100%. And it's not your fault. It's the way we preachers have preached it. But the Lord is saying, when you bring tithes, it is not for profit. So we announce to you, don't expect any profit when you pay tithe. Because those who are expecting profit from tithe are cursed. Two things we want you to mark. Because you need to understand, when Abraham first paid tithe, he didn't do it for the sake of profit.
Yes.
He didn't even collect money from the kings. He said, so that you will not say you made me rich. Then came Melchizedek. He paid tithe to Melchizedek. But it was not for profit. It was not for profit. Not for profit at all. Because when it doesn't come the way you want it, you will complain. And see how you will complain. Look at verses 15. And now we call the proud happy. Yea, they that walk wickedly are set up. Say, God, see the way you arrange wicked people. See the way you plan their life. They are succeeding. He's telling, is that not the way people talk? Why is it that the wicked are prospering? We that have everything. See, God is saying, see, that's the trouble. That's the trouble. See, that's the trouble I have with people who pay tithes. They're expecting something from me. Meanwhile, those who don't pay tithe, they say, I'm the one setting them up. I'm the one prospering them. And you know why? How many of you believe the church is that way today? Yes. So do you know why? Because they don't know what tithing is all about. So I want to show you what tithing is all about. Amen. People don't know what tithing is all about. And I never knew it until the Lord. Like we said, I was having a conversation with a man of God. We were talking, and he was sharing his meditations. And I said, let's talk about tithe. And I went into tithing, and I began. And I was surprised. I was saying, and I was driving, and he was sitting by my side, and I was just talking about tithe. And I was just saying things I have never heard before. And he was taking notes. I stopped. He said, continue. Man, you just said something that I've never heard before. I said, me too, I've never heard it before. He said, really? Yes. I said, I don't know why I said so. I said, but please forgive me. I don't think it makes sense. He said, no, it does. And what prompted the conversation was because I said to him, I heard a man of God once say, if you sit, how do you know you are sitting before a great man? If you sit with a great man for 5 minutes, and you have not heard things that will change your life, then that man is not great. So he looked at me, and we began to talk. And it was in less than 5 minutes I was explaining these things. He was taking notes. The point here is this. These people did not understand what tithe was. They didn't even know why they tithed. Because why? They were born into tithing. They saw their fathers pay tithe. Remember, their fathers even stopped doing it later on. Do you understand? Because in verses 8, he said, even your fathers too. Okay, so they were born into it, but never knew what it was. Do you understand? And later on, didn't see the need to pay tithe. Say, what have we even benefited? It's like God is just taking money from us. What are we even benefiting from this thing called tithing? And God said, that's why even when I bless you, it's a problem. Did you even notice he said he will open the windows of heaven? But there were a group of people, he said, I will open the gates of heaven. For some, he said he will open windows. And many Christians are desiring the windows. Then there were another group, he said, I'll open the floodgates of heaven. Some, he said he will open the doors of heaven. Some, he said he will open the floodgates. Some, he said he just windows. So you see, there are degrees of benefits. But then again, is tithe even given for benefits? Because those that the Lord promised the floodgates did not even pay tithe. So there is something more than tithe. Now say this. Say tithing.
Tithing.
In fact, before you say yes. Say there's something more than tithing.
There's something more than tithing.
Say tithing.
Tithing
is not for God.
It's not for God.
Yeah, that's the truth. Say tithing.
Tithing
is actually for you.
It's actually for me.
See, how many of you understand this thing they call life insurance?
Yes,
Amen.
Yes, sir.
How many of you understand this thing they call life insurance?
Yes, sir.
So you save for an unexpected day, for the future.
Yes, sir.
Please answer now.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Where you throw cash somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
Please answer now.
Yes, sir.
And as you throw the cash somewhere, you don't know, for the sake of unforeseen circumstances that may occur, there might be the need to draw from the pool. You know what I mean by pool? Where you threw that cash.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
Your children may be thanking the insurance agent for the financial assistance. It was not their money. It was your mother's money. It was your father's savings. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
Actually, how many of you believe here in America they make big deal of insurance?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
How many of you believe that many families today in America can't do without insurance?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Now, will it be correct to say over 80% of the families in America are in one form of insurance or the other?
Yes, sir.
If that is true, then that's tithe. Tithe is not for God. It's for you. It's an insurance. Tithe is not for God. How much? What can $100 do for God? What can $1 million do for God in tithe? No, tithe. That's something we ministers have not told the people because we didn't know. Tithing is not for God. It's actually for you. Let's show you something. God always knew that those who pay tithes will have problems one day. God always knew. And if you think that as a child of God, when you pay tithe, you will not have problems, it's a lie. In fact, the very fact that you pay tithe is a proof that you're actually saying something may happen someday. Something may happen someday. Because if we had taught God's people this, and I didn't know this, we tell people that when we pay tithe, God blesses us. We tell people that when we pay tithe, God blesses us. Is that not what we tell people?
Yes, sir. That's what we say.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
But really, it has nothing to do with God. It's for you, really. When you pay tithe, tithing is actually for you. It has nothing to do with God. Say tithing.
Tithing
It's for me.
is for me.
That's nothing to do with God. Someone say, but we give it in church. That's the thing. Just like the way you give your insurance agent. You understand? They make certain withdrawals monthly from your account. True or false?
True.
Amen. Now.
True.
They make certain withdrawals.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand? You will gladly approve of it.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes.
When you walk or when you drive, when you go to work, when you sleep, you have the confidence that your family is insured. That no matter what happened, you are well taken care of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
In case you fall sick, you say, my insurance will take care of it.
True.
Amen.
Yes, amen.
That's what tithing is actually. Wow. The whole thing we call insurance system was drawn out of tithing. So it is even for you. It has nothing to do with God. It's a savings for the future.
Yes, sir.
You wonder why somebody called Jesus and still had the accident. There was no saving for the future. There was no saving for the future. There was no saving for the future. Yeah. But I can call Jesus, he will answer.
I can call Jesus.
No, don't say it. We are not speaking faith here. No. We know some of you are lying. We know you are. Don't say. Although you can say it, but. Praise God. Now, two things we want you to mark. Is it they that tempt God are even delivered? Look at verses 15. They are just telling God, God, you favor the wicked more than us. Do you understand? Doesn't that sound like the way we talk today?
It's true.
Oh God, why did this thing happen to me? Who should it happen to? You know, quite frankly, even when we had the challenges, I didn't ask God, Lord, why is this thing happening to me? I couldn't ask him that because I know what he will say. Who should it happen to? If not you. Anyway, you know you were foolish actually. So it was your fault. Remember what happened was your fault. So I say it's true. So I can't even say to God, Lord, why did it happen to me? No. One day we went to see someone who lost her husband and she said, why did my husband have to die? I said, I don't know, but please. In my mind, I said, who should it happen to? Is it my younger sister that is married? In my mind, I was just thinking. But you know, that's a selfish question to even ask. Say this, say tithing is for me.
Tithing is for me.
You see why the Bible says in verse 16, they that feared the Lord spoke often one to another, and the Lord hearkened unto them, and the book of remembrance was opened. So there were two groups here. Some were paying tithe, celebrating the victories of God. And God remembered them. Others were complaining, God, you are favoring the wicked. You know, usually that verse 16, we isolate it and quote it for the book of remembrance. The book of remembrance is tied to you the way you talk after you pay your tithe. So God does not just open the book. For what reason? Because you had a conversation with Bro.Osi. No, which tithe backed it? Amen. Okay, so let's leave this side. But the part we want you to see is, go to verses 10. In fact, go to verses 9. He said to them, not you here, but these people. He said, they are cursed. Or they curse. Mark the word curse. And then verses 10. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse. Mark the word storehouse. In fact, the very fact that you have the word storehouse is a proof that it's an insurance. Tithing is your insurance. So to say blessed assurance, remember we used to say those things. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Jesus is not yours, he's for Israel. Your tithing is your insurance. But towards what? We must know You must know. Towards what? Now, when he says these people were cursed with a curse, the question then becomes, what was the curse that they were cursed with? When you read verses 10, you would see what the curse was that was not mentioned as a curse, but was the curse.
Yes, sir.
Verse 10, bring ye all the tithes into my storehouse, that there may be meat in my house. And prove me now, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. Right?
Yes,
That there was no room to receive it. So which means they were under closed heavens. Their heavens were closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So anyone, so me trying to encourage you to pay tithe, it's foolish.
Yeah.
Rather, if you don't even pay tithe, I pity you. Because your heaven is closed. No, not you here. We mean these people. Right? Right? Now, so the curse is not the curse your grandmother pronounced on you or a pastor pronounced on you. The worst curse ever is the fact that the heavens were closed. Now, remember, Cain brought an offering to the Lord that the Lord did not accept. Please answer now. Amen? Amen. Cain brought an offering that the Lord did not accept. True or false? True. But his heavens were not closed. God rather cursed the ground, but his heavens were still open. If you read Genesis chapter 4, God cursed the ground again for Cain's sake, but his heavens were still open. And that's why he became wealthy. So you that don't pay tithe, you may say, Cain, no, I pity your condition. The guy was building cities because his heavens were still open. He was wealthy. So you may be in a difficult place, but as long as your heavens are open,
Yes, sir.
yeah?
Yes.
As long as your heavens are open, you're fine.
Yes.
My heavens are open.
My heavens are open.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
My heavens are open.
My heavens are open.
Yeah? My heavens are open.
My heavens are open.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me. It doesn't matter what I face. My heavens are still open.
My heavens are open.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. My heavens are open.
My heavens are open.
Let's show you something. So the cause was that they were under what? Closed heaven. And if your heavens are closed, or not, let's put it this way. If one's heavens are closed, no matter how fruitful the land is, it will become dry because rains will not fall. Notice, blessings do not come from the earth, they come from heaven. So when God cursed the ground against Cain, Cain was still a blessed man because heavens were still open. Blessings don't come from the ground, they come from heaven. And you don't need to pay tithe to make the blessings come from heaven. Tithing is not what makes blessings come from heaven. God didn't need to bless Adam when he paid tithe because Adam never paid tithe. But he was a blessed man. Okay. The children of Israel were under an open heaven, but then God now said he would punish them for what they did. He said, my punishment against you, even though your heavens are open, the rains that will fall over you shall turn to powder. That's what he said to the children of Israel. He said, the rain that will fall over them shall become powder. That means it will come out from heaven as rain. When it's getting close to them, it shall turn to dust. Powder. Why? Because of their disobedience, right? But they were still under open heavens. Why? Because of Moses. One man was the reason why their heavens was open. Moses could not suffer the way they were suffering. Yeah, my heavens are open. Okay, now one thing you need to understand is the word storehouse. Say storehouse. Storehouse. And that's what we want to talk about. Because if you go to Genesis chapter 14, let's read Genesis chapter 14. Genesis chapter 14. Amen.
Amen.
Let's read from verses 18. Can you read to us from verses 18?
Then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of God Most High. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abraham of God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. And he gave him a tithe of all.
You see that? Did you notice something? Abraham did not just pay tithe first. He had to be blessed first. Because God does not collect tithe from a cursed people. So these people in Malachi, they were a special case.
Yes, sir.
God was baffled that an entire nation was cursed. Notice, he said, ye are cursed with a curse, even this whole nation. So God was surprised. It used to be individuals who were cursed, but now to see that an entire nation was under a curse. Now, whether you realize it or not, America is not under a curse. America is still blessed.
Yes, sir.
America is still under open heavens.
Yes, sir.
So why are you suffering? Why are things difficult with you? Why are things hard in your life? Because not everyone in America is suffering.
That's true.
Not everyone is suffering. Not everyone. Like, interestingly, we've said this before, and we'll say it again. What many of us pray for is another person's normal life that does not go to church. You may be asking God for $10,000. Somebody just spent it in the club.
Yes. Oh, so true.
That's the truth.
It's true.
So how can we be God's children asking God for something another person is spending freely? And the person is still not broke, still not poor, will never be poor, does not go to church, does not even like God. And you are saying you'll be serving God, and it looks like things are tough. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So, notice Abraham paid tithe to who? Melchizedek, right? But was the tithe brought into the storehouse? No. There was no storehouse. In Genesis chapter 27, Jacob paid tithe, right?
Yes, sir.
He paid tithe. Right?
Yes, sir.
Or he vowed to pay tithe to God in Bethel, right?
Yes, sir.
And then in Genesis chapter 31, God told him to return to the place where he made the vow to pay tithe, right?
Yes, sir.
Please answer now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he paid the tithe, right?
Yes.
He paid the tithe.
Yes, sir.
Did he not?
Yes,
Yes, he did.
Please answer now.
Yes, sir.
He paid tithe, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when he did pay the tithe, was there a storehouse? No. Please answer now. So, where did the storehouse message begin from? And this will let you know the evolution of tithing. Tithing has evolved. If you are still trying to pay tithe the way Abraham paid tithe, you are missing it big time. You know that's how many pay tithe. That's how many pay tithe. They try to pay tithe that way. They try to pay tithe without a storehouse. That was in the days of Abraham. And God didn't bless Abraham because of tithing. Did you notice he was blessed before he even paid the tithe?
True. Yes, sir.
Please answer now. Now, let's ask you one question. After, this is Genesis chapter 14, right? If you read chapter 15, Abraham asked God, what will you give me? I thought God gave him something.
Exactly.
Genesis 15 verses 1 and 2, he said to the Lord, what would you give me? Then he had a terrible dream. After paying tithe, bad dream again. This is not marine spirit. This one is from God. God still collected offering again. And then God now said he wants to give him a revelation. And your generation will be in bondage for 400 years. Does that look like something you like to say to someone who pays tithes? In fact, in Genesis 15 verses 1, God said to Abraham, I'm your exceeding reward. Abraham said, God, I don't want you. It's not you I want. Give me something. So if you want, you know why people pay tithe like Abraham? Because they claim they are the seed of Abraham. That's why we started explaining something to you. We are not the seed of Abraham. Stop paying tithe like Abraham.
Yes, sir.
The revelation of tithing has evolved over time.
Amen.
Now there is something called the storehouse. But you know, that's what people don't look at. They look at 10%. Didn't you notice? He said, bring all the tithe. This time around, there's no percentage. He didn't get it. Read Malachi 3:10. Read Malachi 3:10 again. It's in your Bible. I didn't write it. This time around, it is without percentage. The 10% was in the days of Abraham and Jacob. Read verses 10. Or you closed your Bible. No, you know it's possible. You can close your Bible. Because these are sermons you don't like to hear. You know, when we told our Papa that we left where we were to come here, he said, "Osi, get a place. I'll send you the money. You pay." And I said, "Don't give us money, sir." He said, "Osi, why?" I said, "Don't give me money, sir." He said, "No, Osi, I insist. Your folks, them Pastor Eunice, they are all coming." He said, "I said, don't give them money, sir. Please don't." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because if you do, it means that your word failed. Remember, I know the things you told me concerning my life and the ministry here." He said, "It's true." I said, "So if you give me money, it means everything was false. It means everything you said was not true." Then he said, "Let me pray for you." He said, "Osi, it's true. Let me pray for you." He said, "I'm surprised you don't want money, but let me pray for you." And somebody said, "He's proud, he's arrogant." No. Brother, this thing must work.
This thing must work.
You say, why? Who gave Papa Joshua Gila money when he first started? See that? There's a difference between the one who inherited a blessing and the one who was the progenitor of a blessing. There's a big difference.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
If you inherited a church, you can't tell the story the way we do. That's the truth. It's the truth.
Yes, sir.
So, sir, don't give me money.
Yeah.
Let's have our own experience too. We're still under your grace.
Yeah.
Nobody's rubbing shoulders with you. You are too exalted. Because your word will take us to.
Yes, sir.
So it's true.
It's true, sir.
Let me pray for you. But do you know how many tithes I've given in my personal life? Imagine when our Papa said, "I'll give him," when I say, "Wow, it's time now for me to enjoy the benefits of my tithe." No way. That's not what tithe is for. That's not what tithe is for. Tithing was never supposed to make a man rich. You don't know. It doesn't matter what is being preached. Tithing was never supposed to make you rich, but there was something tithing was supposed to do. Oh, where did we tell you to open to?
Malachi 3 verse 10.
Oh, you are still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, storehouse, right? So tithing has evolved from the days of Abraham,
Yes, sir.
from the days of Isaac and Jacob.
Yes, sir.
Tithing has evolved into what you call the storehouse. Say the storehouse.
The storehouse.
Now notice where God said the tithe should be brought. Now, like we said, tithing has evolved from the days of Abraham. It has evolved from 10% into all. Now, I'm not saying bring all your money. That's not what we're saying. But you get to see something. He said, bring all the tithes. Where? Into
the storehouse.
To the storehouse. Okay. For what reason? That there may be meat in what?
In my house.
In my house. Wait, did you notice that? 2 houses. Storehouse, house. House there speaks of the temple. But there's a storehouse. Okay. He said, bring all the tithes into the storehouse. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, did God say my storehouse? No, be sure.
He says, bring all the tithes into the storehouse.
The storehouse. So the storehouse was for everyone. It was supposed to be a place everyone has access to. You see that? Okay. So that there will be what? Provision in the house. Did you notice that?
Yes, sir.
So his house is different from what? The storehouse. But you see, we don't pay attention to the storehouse. We pay attention to the 10%. Okay. So, let's understand this storehouse. Who initiated this thing called storehouse? It was a king by the name of King Hezekiah. So let's see what King Hezekiah did. Go to 2 Chronicles. 2 Chronicles chapter 31. Second Chronicles chapter 31. Second Chronicles chapter 31. Okay, now let's read verses 10. No, in fact, let's start from verses 9. You know, our Papa talked about the moving glory, right?
Yes.
If you didn't watch our Papa this morning, watch him. You'll be blessed.
Amen.
That's the season we're entering.
Amen.
You know, when the Lord spoke to me about recession, and I shared with that minister that I was with, I said I made a very big mistake in my life. And I told the minister that was with me in the car, I said, and I didn't know that I made this mistake. He said, what mistake did you make? I said, the mistake was to rely on men. I didn't know that I allowed men to take the place of God in my life. He said, how did it happen? What did you do? I said, one day I was traveling to Atlanta, and we got to Virginia. I was getting close to one of the rest area. Then the Lord said, I want to talk to you about, I was listening to music. The Lord said, stop. I want to talk to you about recession. And I said, yes. The minister was listening to me. I said, do you know what recession means? Yeah. He said, no, you tell me. I said, this was what the Lord told me recession means. Recession means returning to the source. And I said to the Lord, I've always been with you. I never left you. The Lord said, no, you left a long time ago. I said, I did. He said, yes. He said, you relied on men. And I didn't know. I didn't know I did. I thought I was still with God. Oh, the Lord said, you trusted men. You relied on men. So let's call also person. Let him write a check. Let's call also person. The Lord said, you did all of that. I said, I did. Because there was need. We've been teaching them the word. The word should work in their lives. The Lord said, yes. The word is really working in their lives. But you made them your source. Then the Lord said, that's why I chased them away. So start all over again. Yeah. We've gotten a venue, actually. 2 venues, actually. A man of God gave me a place. He said, come and take my place. And I said, let me talk to the Lord about it. The Lord said, don't take it. We've gotten a big place. Then I got another one. I said, I'm still thinking about that. Yeah. The Lord said, stay in the house for a while. Stay. Say, cut off from them. I said, really? He said, Lord, I trusted them. I said, Lord, I didn't know. So I said, cut off from them. Cut off from them. Everyone who ever did anything for you, thank them, cut them off. Some you need to pay them back so that they will not say if not for them. And I did all of that yesterday. No, we need to cut off, man. Oh Lord, I didn't know. I didn't know I relied on men. That's the problem. Because it looks like you are going very well, God is with you, but not knowing that you've missed God. I said, Lord, I did. Lord said, yes. So now return back to the source. And it looks like these were the teachings we had taught many years ago, but we didn't teach it like this. But now there's a better understanding with experience and revelation. So now we can properly understand and have a proper foundation, independent of human influence. No, if you want to walk away, this is the best time to walk away, honestly. That is the best time. Remember, we told you that if you want to go, this is the best time to leave. And I will not be upset because we're cutting off, man. Some people will never see face to face again. It's a determination because the Lord told me this was where you missed it. Oh man, it's not good to miss it. And God will not even tell you except you ask Him. That's the danger. God will never tell you where you missed it. Except you ask Him. God will never tell you where you missed it. Except you ask Him. It was out of His mercy. He said, I want to talk to you about recession. And while He was talking, I got to see, oh, I missed it. Well, who has not missed it? But let's show you something. Oh, man. I love God.
I love God.
Now, oh, man. Look at verses 1. Now when all this was finished, all Israel that were present went out of the city of Judah and break the images in pieces and cut down the groves and threw down the high places. Here, he's just trying to explain how Ezekiah's father closed down the temple, did everything, and the temple became like a forest. The grasses, the weeds, the trees grew and covered the whole temple. So the temple was like a cave. In the days of King Hezekiah's father, he was an enemy of God. But when his father died and Hezekiah became king, he cut everything down and rebuilt the temple, remodeled the temple, redecorated the temple. Oh, see what happened. It's a beautiful reading. You can read it all through till you get to verses 5. Let's start from verses 4. Moreover, he commanded the people, the king, that dwelt in Jerusalem, to give the portion of the priests and the Levites, that they might be encouraged in the law of the Lord. As soon as the commandment came abroad, the children of Israel brought in abundance what? The first fruits of the corn, something they had not done in years. See? Now, look up, please. The reason why we're showing you this, and the reason why we made reference to King Hezekiah's father, is because it matters who is over you. It matters who your leader is. And the kind of leader you have will determine how empowered you will be financially. You know, giving is something I never used to talk about. Now, you can't you see we're dedicating a service to it? We will talk about it. But it's not under compulsion. But we know, man, my heavens are open. Not windows. I don't want windows. The thing is open. Yes. My heavens are open perpetually. We jokingly said to somebody upstairs earlier on, I said, I have a future. Don't think I don't have a future. I have a future. Don't look at me like this. But it matters who your leader is, because your leader will determine how empowered. Now, notice, they brought in abundance what? The first fruit of corn. Abundance. The first fruit of corn. Wine and oil and honey. And of all the increase of the field. Mark the word increase of the field. Read. And the tithes. Read now. And they brought
in abundantly the tithe of everything.
See that? The tithes of everything. This is what it meant by all the tithes. 10% from here. Say, bring it all. Okay, let's read. And concerning the children of Israel and Judah that dwelt in the city of Judah, they also brought in the tithes of oxen and sheep, and the tithes of holy things which were consecrated to the Lord. and lay them in heaps. Now, the king had given a command. See what the king later discovered. Okay. In the 3rd month, they began to lay the foundation of the heaps and finish them in the 7th month, from 3rd to 7th. They were packing tight every day. Okay. And when Hezekiah and the priest came and saw the heaps, they blessed the Lord and his people. Then Hezekiah questioned with the priest and the Levites concerning the heaps. And Azariah, the chief priest of the house of Zadok, answered him and said, since the people began to bring the offerings into the house of the Lord, we have had enough to eat and have plenty left. For the Lord had blessed his people, and that
left is this great abundance.
some versions have it as great abundance, some have it as great store. Do you understand? So what is called storehouse is a place of abundance. It's a bring into abundance. They brought their tithe into an abundance. See? You see why we say to our Papa, please don't give us money. Our Papa is abundance. Do you understand? We are to bring into him. You see when we said, let's buy a camera for our Papa. We bought, honestly, we got a machine, a solid machine for our Papa. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
When he saw it, he said, why? Why? You need cash. Say, no, sir. We're bringing into abundance. You see why you shouldn't feel sorry for me?
Yes, sir.
I know exactly what we're doing.
Yes, sir.
My heavens are open.
My heavens are open.
Yes, sir.
So you see, tithing
Yes, sir.
is not bringing into a place where there is lack. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
We're not in a lack. We're not in a lack. Okay. He said we have left this store. So tithing. Follow this carefully. Tithing. So before we say what we want to say, let's read something. When Hezekiah saw the heap that was left, see what he said. Then Hezekiah commanded to prepare what? A storehouse, a chamber in the house of the Lord, and they prepared it. What did they do? And they brought in the offerings and the tithes and dedicated things faithfully over the what? Over which what? Cononiah the Levite was ruler. Did you see that? Do you understand that?
Yes.
When he saw a heap of tithings that have been gathered, then he said, let's build a storehouse. Do you understand? Yes, you don't build a storehouse where there is no abundance. You see that?
Yes, sir.
So, if this is true, that the storehouse means a place of abundance, why were the people cursed in Malachi? Because there was already a storehouse. To be cursed does not mean that you don't have what you can eat, drink, pay your children's school fees, go to school. Somebody can be in that condition, but he's under a curse. God sees it as a curse. You know why?
Why?
The person does not have a reserve. Do you understand? We're not talking about having a savings. Okay, fine. Just like the way you have savings in your personal account. Say, let's save some money. Do you understand? So you have one dedicated savings account and all that. Now, that's even a tithe to you for your own personal home economy.
Yes, sir.
Now, how about that of God?
Yes.
How about that of God? So you are saving for you, which you are doing very well. God says, why don't you use that same wisdom for me, for my storehouse? Use it for my own storehouse. So you see here, it is not as if the house of God is in lack. The house of God has in abundance. God says, give into abundance.
Yes, sir.
You don't give into lack. You don't give into lack. No, you give into abundance. So this was how storehouse came about. This was where the gospel of the storehouse began. It was by reason of abundance. The people were giving. We're giving. We're giving. We're giving. God and said, you know what? Hezekiah actually, not God. But it's amazing what Hezekiah initiated, God approved. God now wanted it. God said, yeah, we should have reserve. So you see, tithing is towards your reserve. Is your financial reserve with God. You see that? When you give, you are giving. When you give your tithes, notice, tithes and offering, they were all brought together. They were all brought together. Amen. Amen. So, now, with tithing, when you give your tithes, you're actually giving into a financial reserve with God.
Yes, sir.
But it's not even for God, it's for you. So God says, I know you have enough. I know you have what you can use to take care of yourself, your children. But have a reserve with me. Give to me. Give to the... He said, he didn't even say give to me. He said, bring into the storehouse. Notice what the priest said to King Hezekiah. We have enough to eat. These are the leftovers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. It's true. It's true.
So, how does a nation know they are under a curse when their priests are hungry, even though they have? Because it takes the priest to open the windows.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
So why should I be collecting from the priest when I'm supposed to give to the priest? You see why I said to my papa, don't give me money. Why should I be collecting from you, sir? When we are supposed to give to you. You are the symbol of abundance. You are the one we're supposed to give to. And we do. We do. Okay. So you see, the tithing has moved beyond giving for God to bless you. You're already blessed.
Amen.
That's why you can have enough to even give to the storehouse. But we teach it the other way, that when you pay tithe, God will bless you. That's to a cost person.
Yes.
Are you cost?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's show you. Let's show you what is really in the storehouse. What was brought as offerings and tithes. Let's show you what it looks like. All right? Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Go to chapter 32. Chapter 32. Chapter 32. Are you in chapter 32?
Yes, sir.
Now, I want you to see something. The same Hezekiah who built a storehouse for God. Read verses 24. In those days, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Read. In those days,
Hezekiah was sick and near death.
pause. Did you notice that? Yet he built a storehouse. That you pay tithe doesn't mean challenges will not come. But see how he came out of it. Why? Because of a reserve. Because he had built a storehouse for the Lord. You know why some people, listen, for everyone that you ever know that is a Christian, that is sick, that still has not recovered, yeah, was once blessed by God. They never had a reserve. That's why they will never recover. Because people with worse sicknesses have come out because there was a reserve. So tithing goes beyond God giving you cash back. Some, one small headache killed them. Meanwhile, another person had serious migraine and came out of it.
Yes. Wow. That's so true.
No reserve.
No reason.
Do you know there are some people? One sister told us she missed one she failed her exam with 1 mark. And she's begging for consideration. 2 years ago, they considered people with that kind of mark. But in her time, in her day, she's still begging. As I was about to pray, the Lord said, don't worry yourself. She has to repeat it. I say, why? The Lord said she never paid tithe one day. So I asked the sister, have you ever paid your tithe? She said, actually, I don't really believe in tithing. I say, no reserve. So the people whom they considered the year before, maybe 3 people are in their group. They pay tithe. So tithing is more than... You see, there are some things men of God don't come to tell you publicly. There's a way a man of God can tell you, I've never been sick before. Many have been sick. In fact, I was surprised to hear one man of God talk about how he was sick. I said, this man of God can say he was sick. He said he was. But he did not say it in a general. It was a senior pastor's meeting. He said he was sick. He said for him to even stand on the pulpit to minister was a miracle. But he will not say it. But how come he came out of it? Tithing. Okay. In those days, Hezekiah was sick to death and prayed unto the Lord and spake unto him, and he gave him a sign. Right? Yes. But Hezekiah did what? Render not again according to the benefits done unto him, for his heart was lifted. Therefore, God was angry with him. After he recovered, he became arrogant. Notwithstanding, Hezekiah humbled himself after God dealt with him. He humbled himself for the pride of his heart, both he and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so that the wrath of the Lord came not upon them in those. Now, listen, whose heart was lifted up in pride? The king. Who suffered? Him and the people. Him and the entire nation. So you see, when you pay tithe, it secures you from even what our president may have done against the law, or our mayor, or our governor. Yet he's rich. Okay, let's show you something. Read verses 27.
Hezekiah had very great riches and honor.
And he made himself treasuries for silver, for gold, for precious stones, for spices, for shields, and for all kinds of desirable items. Storehouses for the harvest of grain, wine, and oil.
Storehouse. Storehouse. Was what? Full. Reserves. Increase the reserve. So when you pay your tithe, you are doing what? You are increasing your reserve. That's what it does. It's for you. It's not for God.
Yes, sir.
So for us to come and tell you, be encouraged to pay your tithe, why should we encourage you?
It's yours. Exactly.
When the benefit goes to you.
Yeah.
No, we will not encourage you. We're just telling you the truth. It's up to you. You see? Tithing should not be something you should be advised to do. Now, this was a guy who rebelled against God. Yeah, God still prospered him. Now, read on. You see something that happened.
Storehouses for the harvest of grain, wine, and oil, and stalls for the kinds of livestock, and folds for flocks. Moreover, he provided cities for himself, and possessions of flocks and herds in abundance. For God had given him very much property.
You see that?
Yes, sir.
God gave him estates.
Wow.
And we ask you, really, listen. What do you have to give your children? We'll come to that. You see it. But think about that. Okay. So, here, okay, read verses 30.
This same Hezekiah also stopped the water outlet of Upper Gihon, and brought the water by tunnel to the west side of the city of David. Hezekiah prospered in all his works.
Did you see that? Yeah. He did what? Prospered in all his works. Now, there is something we want you to read carefully. Read verses 31.
However, regarding the ambassadors of the princes of Babylon, whom they sent to him to inquire about the wonder that was done in the land, God withdrew from him. in order to test him, that he might know all that was in his heart.
You see that? See that? You know what that means? Stop letting people know where you pay your tithe, how much you give for tithe. Stop letting people know. It's a Babylonian spirit that wants to attack your wealth. Don't even let people know where you pay your tithe. That's the mistake King Hezekiah did. And the Bible says God allowed him to discuss, to know the kind of heart he had. And by the time he opened up, he lost everything in the storehouse. You see why the people in Malachi now had to suffer. God now needed them to bring, to refill what Hezekiah lost. He built the storehouse, he filled it up, he threw it all away. Now other people, his descendants, became victim to the curse. So the people who would have enjoyed the most immense wealth ever in the history of human nature would have been the people who lived in the days of Malachi.
Yeah, yes, sir, exactly.
But it was empty. The storehouse was empty. So you see why tithing, the tithing that you pay, is a financial reserve for your children. If your children are ever going to see jewelries to wear, it is because of the tithes you paid. We're not talking about fake jewelries. Gold-plated, which many people wear today. We're talking about real, authentic jewelries. It's going to be based on the tithing. We're not talking about plastic, white, recycled Coca-Cola bottle. So that you want to maintain your originality. This and that. Go to 2 Kings. I want to show you something. You need to know. This is Hezekiah. He did one of the most damnable things I couldn't have ever imagined he would do. Yet blessed of God. And maybe you are probably heading on that path, and that's why you should change. Say, not me.
Not me.
Now, look at verses. That same story of Hezekiah, him being sick. 2 Kings gave us details about it. 2 Kings chapter 20. Are you in 2 Kings chapter 20? When you read from verses 12, it says, at that time, Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present unto Hezekiah, for he had heard that Hezekiah had been sick. Right?
Yes, sir.
Read.
And Hezekiah was attentive to them and showed them all the house of his treasures,
You see that?
silver and gold.
Don't let people know about how much you give for tithes. Don't let people know. Your husband doesn't even need to know. A Babylonian spirit can enter him. Your wife doesn't need to know. Somebody said we have a joint account, man, concerning tithing. Because Hezekiah made the mistake of letting the people know. See what happened. Let's read.
And Hezekiah was attentive to them and showed them all the house of his treasures, the silver and gold, the spices and precious ointment, and all his armory, all that was found among his treasures. There was nothing in his house or in all his dominion that Hezekiah did not show them.
You see that? He was telling them everything. Do you know people who discuss tithe? Yeah, don't pay it.
True.
And you that pay it, you are discouraged from paying because someone who does not pay talked you out of it. Now, when he did, God sent the prophet Isaiah and told him what, when you read from verses 14, Isaiah the prophet pronounced curses, told him that everything he showed the Babylonian king, he will lose it all to them. Do you know You would think Hezekiah was going to be very sorry. Read verses 19. I was baffled to hear what Hezekiah the king said. Read verses 19.
So Hezekiah said to Isaiah, the word of the Lord which you have spoken is good. For he said, will there not be peace and truth at least in my days?
You see that? He said, at least I will die in peace. It is my children that will suffer it. That's what he's saying. At least, thank God. I like that prophecy. I like that prophecy. At least it's not, I will die in peace. Everything will still be fine. I will still have this word you said, right? Isaiah was bad. Really? So you have changed. You become like this. You are not even remorseful. He didn't care. He said, at least I will not be here. It is my children that will suffer it. You see, tithing is a reserve for your children. You see why the children entered hardship? To the extent that in the days of Malachi, the people were under a closed heaven. Hezekiah was the one who did it. He was the cause of them being under closed heaven. Do you know when you don't pay your tithe, do you know what you are doing to your generation? They will struggle. They will suffer hardship. Do you know? You see why the paying of tithe is not for God to make you rich. It is for the security of your children.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That they will not be under closed heaven. The prayers you and I are praying now, the prayers we pray today, were they prayers we were supposed to pray?
No.
Now you see your beautiful child that you raised, and you're expecting that child to go through what you have already gone through. Hezekiah said, praise God, thank God. That prophecy is good. That's the best prophecy I've ever received. At least I will die in peace. It is my children that will suffer it. You see that? So tithing keeps your children in peace. It makes them dwell safely. Okay. See what he did. A prophecy against his generation, he said it is good. You see, a blessed king like this, he became a satanic foundational power to his generation. Because if they go to inquire, why are we suffering? God says Hezekiah. Hezekiah. He became the satanic foundational power. All the tithes of the whole nation, he displayed to the Babylonian king. And they came, he said, at least it's not me that will suffer it. Stop letting people know where you pay tithes. Stop telling people how much you pay tithes. And brother, I gave it in church. I know when you come in church. I'm talking about when you are outside with your folks. You know who your folks are. People should not know what you give for tithe. People should not know where you pay your tithe. Somebody say it's obvious. They pay tithe to your church. Well, yes. But we have a responsibility not to expose it. And I want you to give me an account of, why should I give you an account? You have come with the Babylonian spirit to know what the people give so that you can know what to attack. So only a foolish pastor will want to open the records for people to see. I did all of that. That was my mistake. I did all of that in the past. Where I was trying to show, man, look, I didn't eat your money. Come and see. I did all of that. It was my biggest mistake. I didn't know I was a Hezekiah. Yeah. In the past. See, so let's begin to see where we are missing it now. Because we're trying to be honest. Meanwhile, it was not something we owed the people. This guy said, no problem. Thank God the prophecy will not happen in my day. It is my children. It's good. After all, they didn't even work for it. After all, let them suffer it. So you see, he's acknowledging that this thing we call tithing, it's a life insurance. It's an insurance. You are saving for the future of your children with God. No wonder when your daughter was in crisis in college, when she prayed, God didn't hear her. Because the daughter is under closed heaven. That mommy shot. Or grandma shot. We pray for people here. When we pray for people, you find one spirit manifesting. I'm our grandmother. Our grandmother gave them to me. Their grandfather gave them to me. See, sister, we caught her so. With nice wig. Went to college. Brilliant. Doesn't know that she was already given. Didn't know she's already given. She's not possessed. Come on, she's not possessed. In fact, when we're praying for her, the spirit came and said, "Ah, brother, so why are you disturbing us now? This is our product, this is our property. Leave us alone." Sometimes I'm always baffled. When we pray for people during deliverance, and you hear the spirit say, "Please leave us alone, Bro.Osi. I see your business." One day I'll never forget. One demon reached. I see your business. Go and mind your business. Are you not from Nigeria? We are from Ethiopia. Leave us alone. This is a national matter. The demon said to me. He said it to me. The demon said, leave us alone. We are Ethiopians. You are from Nigeria. I said, I'm not from Nigeria. He said, you think we don't know where you're from? Told me the state. He said, you're from this state. I said, I'm not from there. I'm from Zion. You get that? Oh. What is this now? Why is it that Nigerians don't mind their business? The demon was telling me. I said, in the name of Jesus, I'm an Ethiopian. He said, we don't want you. But come to find out, this particular sister was someone that was recognized by the nation of Ethiopia. Brilliant. Super brilliant. Got a national award. But that award was the award of bondage. You see why the demonic force, the national demon in Ethiopia. If Ethiopia have their own, that means Nigeria has their own. I don't know what Sierra Leonean demon looks like. And I don't know what Haitian demons look like. But I think Nigerians' own will be very terrible. Thank God we are free. I don't know what Ghanaian demon looks like. You leave us alone now. You leave us alone. Eh? Is it not true? As we speak now, the sister is not even with us anymore. Hey, Ethiopian demon took her away. After her deliverance, later on, reacted over nothing. God offended that one of our pastors said something, so she left. So yeah, he's the Ethiopian demon. He's a national. See the demon. We recall one day we were praying for someone, and the demon said, "Prophet, hey, prophet, I feel sorry for you." I said, "Why do you feel sorry for me?" After I will go. This person that you are praying for will come and look for me, prophet. This person will come and look for me. Sure enough, the person did. The person is not with us today. Because I recall about 2 or 3 times when we pray for the demon said, "Prophet, you will still get to see what I'm saying. I know you're a prophet. I know you care. These ones, they don't want to be helped." And it is true. I later discovered it. You know, demons don't lie.
Yes, sir. Demons don't lie.
I called the person once. I said, "This is what you did to me." I said, "This is what you did to me." "No problem. Let's separate. I wish you the best." And I can imagine the demon saying, "Didn't I tell you, prophet?" Ezekiel became the strong human demon against the finances of the people in Egypt? No? In Judah. He said, "No problem. Maybe your grandfather spoke that way. That's why you're having financial difficulty. He did something and he said, 'No problem, Lord, at least I'll stay.'" Because think about it. You trace your family history. Your great-grandfather used to be known as a wealthy man, successful. Now you, the grandchild, you are broke. Where's the wealth? Because he did something and he said, "I will enjoy my own," then they can suffer. But whatever suffering, Whatever things your parents did that was affecting your finances, as we speak, by the prophetic spirit of our father, Papa Joshua Gila, we cancel it by fire. Amen. We cancel it by fire. Amen. We cancel it by fire. Amen. Take your seat, please. Let's show you one more thing. Go to Hebrews chapter 7 so that you can understand that tithing does not make God give you money. Rather, tithing is a savings, is a spiritual, financial, increased savings for your generation. Do you understand? So, if you have been paying tithe, expecting profits like the people of Malachi, no, tithing actually, the tithes we pay is not for us, it's for our generation. For your children to come. You see why your child can do well? You see why the child of... You see why somebody who does not go to church is prospering? Maybe his grandmother was paying tithe. But the people in Malachi said, God, you are prospering this person. See the way you are helping them. And God is saying, look at this. Your problem is the way you talk. So before you start saying, why is God blessing President Trump? You don't know what his father did with God. You don't know what his grandmother did. Why is Bill Gates that rich? You don't know what his auntie did with God. Ezekiel that we celebrate in scripture said, Lord, thank God. At least I will not have to suffer it. Hi. It was the meanest remark a man can ever make in scripture. Say no problem. Hi. No wonder God wanted him to die early. He said, no, Lord, let me live. When God added 15 more years, see the shipwreck he made. He brought the children of Israel into financial bondage and said, thank God I will not suffer it in my lifetime. Is that not what King Saul did? When he killed the Gibeonites, King David suffered famine for 3 years. And when he inquired of the Lord said it was King Saul that did it. But King Saul was not alive to suffer it. Whatever thing someone has done in your family that is making you go through what you are going through, that thing right now expires. It expires. It expires now. We mean not now. We mean now. We don't mean later, now. The burden is taken from your neck. The burden is taken from your shoulders. The yoke is broken from your neck. No more financial bondage. In Jesus' name. Praise God. Let's look at Hebrews chapter 7. Let's close with that. Have you been blessed so far? Yes, so what are you going to do with your tithes? You give. You know, there's a way you can tell your child your future is secure.
Yes,
My tithe awaits you in the future. See, the profits of my tithing, it awaits you in the future. You will never have to pray the prayers I prayed. Your heavens are open. So the more we pay tithe, the more the heavens of our generation remains perpetually open. Say, I'm not like King Hezekiah.
I'm not like King Hezekiah.
Listen, God prospered him because of tithing. I'll never miss it like Hezekiah.
I'll never miss it.
Let's show you that tithing does not bring you financial profit now. It doesn't. So if you feel disappointed that they told me that if I pay tithe, God will open business contract for me, He does not do so. Why? Because there is something called storehouse. Storehouse is not for now. It's for the future. Here you can have reserve and still live on what you are already living on. But what does the enemy attack? He will attack your reserve. When he attacks your reserve, you will exhaust what you are already having. Before long, you become broke. The enemy may not attack your job, but he can attack where you pay your tithe. You see? That's like attacking what? Your reserve. Just say, see what happened, no, this and that. It's you, not me. You don't know? Hey, see what happened, no. Hey, church, what happened to church now? Hey, Bro.Osi, take out. Is it for me? No, it's for you. You don't know, you are in trouble. No, you are not in trouble now. At least we know better. Yes, but if you are telling me take out, don't tell me to take out. It's a new beginning, exactly. So, what do you do? Protect your storehouse.
Yes, sir.
Protect your storehouse.
See that? Protect your storehouse. Protect your storehouse.
Protect your storehouse.
So that your children can have a secured future.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
So you can be a better Ezekiah saying, my children will enjoy great future. Yeah, I think we were talking to Pastor Viva one time. I think she said something. She says, man, your generation is blessed. I think she was saying something in that line. I said, why do you say so? She says, with what God has used you to do for many of us. Oh, man, it's true.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Secure your generation. It's not the pastor that will do it for you. This is what tithing does. Tithing does not make you a multi-millionaire because the tithing you pay is not for you. It's for your unborn generation.
Yes, sir.
Coming. For your unborn generation coming. Your unborn generation coming. It's for them. Except you don't have any. Or you don't want any. Except you don't want it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you see, you can't be paying tithe and be barren.
True.
Because who will go to?
Because you can actually ask God and say, who did I reserve it for?
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Wow.
Wow.
So there's no barrenness in our midst.
There's no barriers in our midst.
Okay. Verses 1. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him, to whom also Abraham gave what? A tenth part of all. When Abraham paid tithe in Genesis chapter 14, we were not told the percentage, but now Paul is telling us it was the tenth part. First, being by interpretation, king of righteousness. After that also, king of Salem, which is what? King of peace. Without father, without mother, without descent, having what?
Beginning of days nor end of life.
But made unto...
The Son of God remains a priest continually.
Now, consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of his spoils. How do you know who to pay tithe to? You, the one who is greater than you, in spiritual power. That's what he's telling you. You see, Abraham, that was great. But for him to pay tithe to Melchizedek, that means Melchizedek is greater. Not the one who can preach better. The one who is spiritually greater than you. Okay. Now, consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of his spoils. And verily, they that are of the sons of Levi, which receive the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law, that is, of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham. You see that? The tithe Abraham paid once to Melchizedek. But Melchizedek was called the priest of God. And because Melchizedek was a priest and Abraham paid tithe to a priest, he produced a generation that had the priesthood. So imagine if you have a prophet and you pay tithe to a prophet.
Yes, sir.
It means that there will be someone in your generation that will be a prophet.
Yes, sir.
It secures a generation for you.
Yeah.
So even though you have not seen your unborn generation, you can tell what they are likely to be.
Yes, sir.
You say, because of where I pay my tithe.
Yes,
I know in my generation we'll have pastors, we'll have prophets,
yes, sir.
mighty prophets. Why? Because I know where I pay my tithes. You see why it's an insurance?
Yes, sir.
Insurance, is it for now or for the future? That's what tithe is. So if you are saying, I expect to have a Lamborghini now since I've been paying tithe, God said, what's wrong with you? Securing a future for your generation and a Lamborghini for now, which one is better? Yes. And you can have both, really.
Yes, sir.
Well, we have both. Okay, now, finally, in conclusion. But he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham and blessed him that had the promise. Did you see that? He says, never pay tithe to a relative. Abraham never paid tithe to a relative. Melchizedek is not a biological relative of Abraham. So to say to come and pay tithe to a grand uncle, he's the oldest person in our family, and just give him something, you are making a mistake. He said Melchizedek is not even a biological progeny or progenitor of Abraham's heritage. Not. Yet Abraham paid tithe to him. So this thing is trying to tell you, tithing is not a family thing. Some families, they do it.
Yes, they do. Yes, sir.
The child starts work, the first salary, they say, give it to your father. It's wrong. It's wrong.
It is.
Except you know that person in your family is God's prophet.
Yes.
But if that's not the case, then it's wrong. Okay. Verse 7. And without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better. See that? You pay tithe to the one who is better than you in spiritual power.
Yes, sir.
And here men die. Here men that die receive tithes. But he that receiveth them, of whom it is witnessed that he liveth. And as I may say so, say, Levi also, which received tithe, paid tithes in Abraham. And he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. Now notice, the Bible says Abraham is the father of Levi. If Abraham is the father of Levi, and Levi paid tithes. So when Abraham was paying tithe, it was Levi that is paying tithe. So which means each time you have an opportunity to pay tithe, someone from your generation is paying tithe. Not you. You're actually not the one. So that means that person in your generation that paid tithe is actually saying, I'm coming. I'm saving for my arrival. So why are you denying them the opportunity? So you see, they are giving into the storehouse knowing that they are coming. So God doesn't just choose people at random. He chooses by a careful, divine, deliberate orchestration of activities you have done, spiritual activities you have engaged in concerning him. So it's up to you. Well, I don't believe it, no problem. No problem. Don't forget, the people in Malachi, the reason why God spoke to them was because they were under a curse. So they cried out to him. Like we said, one thing about God you should never forget is that God will not say anything if you don't ask him. So you see, you need to understand that tithe does not carry any physical blessing. The blessing tithe carries is spiritual. It is an unseen blessing that awaits your children. When we say it is spiritual, it can become physical when your generation comes. But to you, it's still spiritual because you have not seen it.
Yes, sir.
And the things we have not seen, the Bible says they are eternal. Why don't you secure an eternal future?
Yes, sir.
This is the truth you need to know about tithe. Otherwise, you might unconsciously start behaving like King Hezekiah, who is saying, well, thank God I have a good job. Thank God. Now, God did not take him from the throne. Notice that. So, if you don't pay tithe, it's not as if you will lose your job. You will not lose your job. You will still be paid the same amount you'll be paid. No problem. But your generation will suffer. Maybe that's why some grandchildren don't like their grandmas. And that's why they don't like their grandpas. What did you do for us? What future did you secure for us? Grandma is the first attorney in our family. What did he bring to us? I've met someone whose grandpa used to be the president of Nigeria. And I looked at him and I said, see, I said, I can't really say it. I don't like to tell people that my grandpa was once president of Nigeria. Say, please pray for me, prophet. Pray for me. Oh, man. But I did have a cousin to the president. In fact, then, when I was doing my National Youth Service, we call it NYSC. When you graduate, you serve the country. When I was doing my NYSC, my roommate, or my flatmate, he lived in the other room. I was living in this room. My flatmate was the nephew to the president of the country at the time. Ahmed. We were good friends. In fact, I had one crazy girlfriend then who stabbed me with a knife. He was the one who said, Pastor, see. And I told, and he looked at me and said, Pastor, she's not good. I said, yeah, she's not good. He said it to me, Ahmed. Said, her name is Ruka. I said, Ruka is not good. I said, she's not. I said, Ahmed, thank you. He said, no, Pastor. No. Knife? She's not good. But then the quality of the tithes. See, I want to finally say this now. The quality of the tithes you give. Is it something that befits your generation? Because now, I know my biological father to be a pastor for many years. And I know he did pay tithe. He still does pay tithe. But I'm trying to think, what did the tithe do for me? Someone say, well, maybe it brought you into the prophetic. Well, the prophetic, where we had to struggle. See, until the Lord showed us mercy and favor. So the question then becomes, the kind of tithe you give. Will it be something your children will look back and say it were better you never gave it? Because it's not as if we're better off. We still struggle. We still struggle now. Levi never struggled.
True.
God said to Abraham, I'm your reward. God said the same thing to Levi. He said, I'm your inheritance. And God told the Levites, he said, you will never sweat as you minister. So he told them, don't wear wool, wear linen. If you wear wool, it means you are suffering. Told them, no one, no Levite, no priest should have a scar on their face. See that? Never do anything that will give you a scar.
Yeah.
Because of Abraham.
Yeah.
Abraham's tithe.
One time.
So Aaron was chosen because of Abraham. Moses is a descendant from Abraham.
Yes.
Because Moses is a Levite. Aaron is a Levite. Praise God forever. Have you been blessed?
Yes, sir.
So, re-examine your tithes and see whether it is worth giving. Re-examine it. What can $1 do for your generation? If that's what you want to give. What can $10 do? Someone say, but pastor does not. Don't worry about pastor. You worry about your generation. Pastor is not your relative. He is spending our money. Don't worry about that. If you have enough, you will not talk that way.
True.
They had more than enough, so they started reserving for the future. But Hezekiah gave it to the Babylonian guys. You are free from the Babylonian spirit. So what spirit attacks tithing? The Babylonian spirit. When you begin to open up to discuss your tithing with people. And tell me about this tithing again. You explained it last year. No, 2 years ago. 3 years ago you explained it. 2 years ago you explained it to the same person. Last year you explained it. The person said, hey, explain it. Say, come, let's pray for you. Let's remove this Babylonian spirit. Because I know you want to attack me. Oh. Remember we talked about the mystery of testimony, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that not what happened?
Yes, sir. Oh, Lord, have mercy.
See, my tithe is secured.
My tithe is secure.
Therefore, my generation is secured.
Therefore, my generation is secure.
My heritage is protected.
My heritage is protected.
My generation will always operate
My generation will always operate
under open heavens.
under open heavens.
And their rains
And their rain
will never turn to powder.
will never turn to powder.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Talk to the Lord. Talk to the Lord where you are seated. Le prosoto prate. Karoso pre tekiska. Karoso pre tekiska. Suta palete ne mesekite. Karoto kobosantia. Yes. Father, you will see a difference in my tithe. I will give big. I will give well in my tithing. I really want to secure a future for my generation. I will give better tithes, better offerings. I'm delivered from the spirit of $20, $10, $5, $1. I'm delivered from that spirit. No, I will give big. Because $1 can do nothing for my children. Listen, in Jesus' name. If $1 cannot do anything for you now, and things are getting worse by the day, what can $1 do for your generation as tithe? That's why I'm praying for myself. You may have laughed over it. No, I will not give $1 as tithe and offering. I will never give it. In offerings, I will not give $1. I will not give $2. I will not even give $20. I will give big. Because I'm securing a future for my generation. I have in abundance. I have in abundance. The storehouse is full. My generational storehouse is full. In the name of Jesus. Listen, Jesus, let's tell you something. There's a sister, a medical doctor in Atlanta we prayed for. When we prayed for her, the demon that was talking said, I said, we're praying for her marital life. And the demon said, no. The demon raged. Don't go there. Don't discuss her marital life. I said, why not? The demon said, come on. What does she want that I have not given her? True, this sister is very successful. She owns a mansion, mega mansion. A medical doctor, very successful. No marriage. Guess what the demon said? I gave her money. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Even the jewelry, the bangles she was wearing. Very successful. In order to even, she sat and we were telling her, I said, this is the, this is the issue with your marital life. We were telling her, she kept quiet. This sister, very organized. She just did as though she didn't know what we were talking about because her friend was standing there. We told her, I said, you went to buy Toyota car. I know the car you drive. You drive, whether Mercedes or something. I can't remember what the Lord told me. I said, you drive so car, but you went to buy Toyota so that people will not see you. A man will not see you as a wealthy man because when they come, when they see your wealth, they fear you. When they come, when they see the door to your house, the door to our house, the door, front door.
Yes, sir.
She was quiet. When the friend left, she said, Prophet, who gave you these eyes to see? That's what she said. She said, you saw everything. It's true. I didn't want my friend to know. I just bought Toyota Camry 3 months ago so that they will not see the Mercedes Jeep that I'm driving. But very successful. When we prayed for her, the demon said, I've given her money. There's a reason why we brought that up. Because as she was growing up, her parents were always going to give sacrifices, do rituals every year. That's like what? Paying tithe into the storehouse. So they were reserving a future for her financially, academically. Came to her. She studied medicine in Nigeria, came to America, wrote it, passed. Very successful. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
She works in another state but lives in Atlanta. She's that successful.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
But what the parents were giving to the forces, to those evil altars, secure the financial future, which you admire as a Christian. She is a Christian. She speaks in tongues. She's actually a pastor. She pays tithe, so she thinks it is her tithe. It is what the parents have secured for her. Now, she's been consistent with her tithe, her partnership. You understand? The ministry she's part of. She's a big giver. No marriage, no child. So you see, she's securing the future for nothing. That's what it is, because she doesn't have a man. She doesn't. Is she go want another married to? No child. So in the course of praying for her, the demon said, okay, I'll let her have a child out of wedlock. But she will not marry, but she can have a child. I said, no, she will be married. The demon said, prophet, what is your business? The demon said, what is your business, prophet? What is your business? Secure a future for yourself. Father, I'll give big. I'll give big. I know it is because of her giving, her tithing in the ministry where she is, that make God that bring her. Because she's giving to no future. But she thinks she's securing a future. Because there are forces who say, no, this won't. Because she was once married before. The man beat her shege, took her money and left. Do you understand?
Yes.
Father, my tithing. Father, let my tithing break me out of satanic bondage.
Father, let my tithing break me out of satanic bondage.
See. Okay, fine. Let's pray one prayer. From that story we told you. Say, Father, whatever tithe my parents gave unconsciously and wrongly to an evil altar that is working against me today. Father, as I pray now, let that effects expire. Let it 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 expire. Wherever altar they have paid that tithe. In Jesus' name. So free your children from bondage. Amen. By paying tithe right. Yes, sir. So anytime you don't feel like paying tithe, remember, say, man, for my unborn children. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Even Tupac wrote a letter to his unborn child, right?
Yeah.
And he did have a child, but never lived to see it. Yeah. And I had once listened to that rap, and I was baffled what he said. Letter to my unborn child. And he even said he knew the kind of life he's living, his child will not live to see. He will not live to see his child. He said so. He said, but these are the things you should follow. Mark this, mark this, mark this. He said it. So secure a future for your unborn child with your tithing. So I said, brothers, I need to go and listen to that rap. I just need to go and listen to that rap. I had once listened to it before. Praise God. Father, as I pray now, let the future of my children be secured. As I pay my tithe, let the future of my children be secured. In Jesus' name. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name. So, remember what we told you. Tithing is not to make you rich. Abraham was not rich because of tithe. He was already rich. And he knew how he got the money from Egypt and Gerar. Do you understand? So tithing does not make you rich. Please don't fool yourself. Tithing does not make you rich, but it can secure a future for your generation. And the quality of the tithe you give determines the kind of future you secure.
Yes, sir.
Praise God. So you don't give tithe based on emotions to say, this is our family pastor. No, is he greater in spiritual grace? If not, that's not the person to pay tithe to. And I'm baffled sometimes. We're still baffled when we hear, even we did meet somebody in our ministry here. We're talking and I say, I ask the person, where do you really pay your tithe? And the person said, well, I pay tithe here. Sometimes I pay tithe here. I said, you? Yeah. I said, how confused are you?
Sorry.
You don't pay tithe in two places. Here and there. Say, that's my former church brother. Say, I'm with you now. I still have to since I don't really go there, I send them my tithe. Hey, what a divided generation that person has. They are here. You see why those kind of people, they will raise a generation that will never be in accord. And then the tithe they were supposed to pay, they give it to an afar. So in their generation, they will have a Muslim. Lord have mercy upon me. Have you been blessed? Yes. Thank the Lord. Thank Him. Father.